It's in that sort of dead tree over there.
Calgary experienced probably one of the worst disasters in Canadian history in 2013. And Inglewood Bird Sanctuary was not immune to that either. We experienced an enormous amount of damage here that really damaged the sanctuary in a way that we hadn't even expected. We lost habitat. We had thousands of pounds of debris come into the site. We lost our access to the sanctuary. We found everything in the sanctuary, including the kitchen sink, which we became more than just a phrase. It was a reality.
So the water came up to almost where we are standing right now. You can see the observation deck across the lagoon was pretty severely damaged. That one is still in place, but there were many of them within the sanctuary that were actually washed away during the flood. We plan to repair observation decks in the winter. The bridge that we're looking at right here, during the flood, as well as soon as that water receded, this bridge looked like a beaver dam. You couldn't even see the bridge. There was so much debris and silt on it. And the wildlife, as well as us, rely on these passages to get to higher ground. So that was one of the first priorities after the flood, was to clear areas such as the bridge, so the wildlife that was on the island when the water was so high could get back down here to higher ground. The animals and the plants that live here are very resilient. They have evolved under these conditions. This is a natural habitat for them. And the fact that there hasn't been a lot of people in the sanctuary in the last 2 years has actually allowed a lot of the migratory bird species and the mammals that live here, their populations are flourishing right now. These people that are very, very passionate about the birds and wildlife and this area back in here, taking pictures and enjoying it like it's always meant to be enjoyed.
When it opened today, I think I was first in line to get here. Oh, I've walked these paths for hundreds of times before the Great Flood. And then as soon as the Great Flood, of course, it was closed. I'm really impressed, to say the least. I am really, really impressed. They've done an absolutely amazing job of restoration. It's far greater than I would have ever anticipated. And the trails are very, very similar to what they were before.
We are so very happy to be reopened to the public, and we encourage people to come down and enjoy this natural area and the wildlife and the trails here. Trails are partially open, so people can come down and see some of the restoration that's taken place since the flood in 2013 and see some of the migratory birds and wildlife that call this area home.